cargo pants. An average-looking guy who clearly spent a lot of time at the gym. In contrast, the girl was dressed all in black with a leather jacket over a Stranglers t-shirt, plus tight jeans and biker boots. Her hair was black to match her clothes, with streaks of crimson. Beneath hooded, heavily made-up lids, her eyes were the colour of café noir, a shade away from black. She was several inches taller than him, about 5'10", so when standing she towered over him, reminding me of Olive Oil and Popeye. They talked to each other in their own language, Eastern European, obviously, though I was unable to tell if they were from Hungary, Romania, or some other part of this half-continent. As the train made its way out of the city, another passenger came into the carriage from the other end. He was about 40, stocky, with cropped hair and an acne-scarred face. He had no luggage. Even though most of the seats in the carriage were empty, he sat diagonally opposite Laura and me. He appraised us, apparently not liking what he saw, then closed his eyes and fanned himself with a newspaper. I watched Budapest go by, the lights of the city blinking out as the journey progressed. "I need a drink," I said after a while. "There should be a dining car open on the train somewhere." "Not till it crosses the border." I looked up. It was the guy across the aisle. He shrugged good-naturedly and said, "The dining car doesn't open till we reach Romania. He checked his watch. "Around 2.5 hours. I knew we should have bought supplies in Budapest." "Don't worry," he said, jumping to his feet. "We have plenty." He fished a heavy carrier bag out of his luggage and crossed the aisle to sit opposite us. After a pause, his companion followed, settling down beside him and crossing her legs. He cracked open 2 cans of Hungarian lager and passed them to us before we could protest. "I'm Ion," he said, opening 2 more cans and taking a sip from his. "And this is Alina." Chapter 2. The train windows were matte black, the darkness broken only by the occasional glimpse of lights in the distance. I glanced at my reflection, my face stretched like melted plastic by some kink in the glass. It was creepy. I looked away and turned my attention to our new companions. Ion laid his free hand on Alina's knee, stroking it. So they were an item. "What brings you to Romania?" he asked, grinning broadly. Beside him, Alina wore a more muted smile, seemingly bored. Laura answered before I could. "We're travelling round Europe. We've spent the last few weeks lying on beaches." "Nice." "But we wanted to visit Eastern Europe, soak up some culture instead of rays." Ion nodded. "Good choice. Romania is the most beautiful country. Of course, there are many problems, poverty, with the Romani gypsies and so on." He waved a hand like this was a boring topic. "But this is real Europe, far more interesting than a Spanish beach." I noticed that Alina rolled her eyes, almost imperceptibly. "So you're from Romania?" Laura asked Alina, trying to draw her in. "Yes." Laura waited, but no more words were forthcoming. "She's from Sibiu," Ion said. "That's where we're heading now, to see her folks. I can't wait to see if Alina's mum is as smoking hot as her daughter." I smiled. "You speak excellent English. That doesn't sound patronizing." "No, not at all. That's where Alina and I met, at English classes." He moved his hand further up his girlfriend's leg. She remained stony-faced. "So, where have you been on your journey round Europe?" he asked, looking from Laura to me. I took a deep breath. "We started off in Brussels, then travelled down through France and Spain, a week in Ibiza, then into Italy, Rome and the Amalfi Coast, then over to Greece, up through Croatia into Hungary." That was it. 2 glorious months condensed into a shopping list. The details, the memories, were precious to Laura and me. The trip, our grand tour, as we self-mockingly labelled it, had been transformational. Being typical tourists on the Eiffel Tower and round the Louvre, people watching and feeling all the knots in our muscles untie themselves as we finally relaxed, after what had been an intense period back home. Going wild in Spain, dancing and drinking at the Benicassim Music Festival, clubbing all night and sleeping all day in Ibiza, shopping and hiring scooters and more shopping in Rome, making love on a beach on the Amalfi Coast, lying under the stars, and talking about the children we'd have when we got back to England, snorkelling among a rainbow of fish off Santorini.